So today we will start chemical reaction and equations. In this chapter, you learn understand chemical change, write and balance simple chemical equations, describe the significance of a balanced chemical equation, classify chemical reactions as combination, decomposition, displacement, and double displacement reactions, and define oxidation and reduction processes, that is, redox reactions, define corrosion, rancidity, and other aspects of daily life. How does one describe these chemical changes? A substance which undergoes a chemical change is called the reactant, and the substance which is formed as a result of a chemical change is called the product. So, let us study what actually the chemical change is. A chemical change is the one in which a reactant will combine together to form the product. So, what is a reactant? A substance which undergo a change is a reactant, and the new product which has been formed, new substance which has been formed is called the product. Illustrate this with the help of an example. We have magnesium which combines with the oxygen. So here magnesium combines with the oxygen, resulting in a formation of magnesium oxide. So here in the reaction 1, above reaction, we can say magnesium and oxygen undergoes chemical change and they are the reactants. So at the left hand side you have magnesium and oxygen, they are undergoing a chemical change, they are called reactants. And magnesium oxide is a new substance formed, it is the product. So any new substance which has been formed is called as a product. Let us study about the reactants and products with the help of one more example. That is when zinc combines with a dilute sulfuric acid. When zinc combines with a dilute sulfuric acid, it results in a formation of zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. As in the previous reaction, we studied the reactants and products. Similarly, here in reaction 2, zinc and dilute sulfuric acid are the reactants. And zinc sulfate and hydrogen are the new substances formed, so it is the product. In a chemical reaction, the reactants is, or are if they are more than one, written on the left hand side. Always the reactants, if it is one or more than one, we say that is, if two or more reactants, they are always written on the left hand side. And the products, so product may be a single product or there may be one or more product, they are written on the right hand side. So always the reactants are written on the left hand side and the products are written on the right hand side. The change of the reactant into the product is shown through an arrow mark. Yes, we can see here a arrow mark between the reactants and the products. So the reactants will change into product. So this has been shown with the help of an arrow mark. And use of plus sign, use of plus sign is made when there are more than one reactant or there are more than one product. So as I told you, if there is more than one reactant or if there is more than one product, they are always been represented with the help of a plus sign. So we studied about the chemical reaction, how it is been represented, what are the reactants and what are the products. Let us go for a balanced chemical equations. So very important concept in the chemical reactions, balanced chemical equations. So what is the law of conservation of mass? Law of conservation of mass states that according to the law of conservation of mass, matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. So why we are studying here is because almost all the chemical equations should be balanced because they follow the law of conservation of mass. So what does it states? Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. It means the total amount of reactants should always be equal to the total amount of products. So no reactant is created, no product is destroyed. So they always obey the law of conservation of mass. Mass of each element, that's what? Mass of each element present in the products of a chemical reaction must be equal to its mass present in the reactants. So the total mass of the products present should always be equal to the total mass present in the reactants. So that's what every chemical reaction in a nature should obey the law of conservation of mass. Then only we can say they are balanced chemical equations. So let us study how it is with the help of an example. So here magnesium combines with the oxygen, resulting in a formation of magnesium oxide. So here in the reactants on the left hand side, we have two magnesium elements. We have two magnesium elements. At the same time, we have two oxygen elements. So according to the law of conservation of mass, we should have two magnesium and two oxygen at the product, as a product at the right hand side. So when we see the products at the right hand side, we have 2 MgO. So this 2 will apply to both the Mg as well as to the O. So the equation is said to be balanced since the reactants has 2 magnesium, product also has 2 magnesium, and reactants has 2 oxygen and product also has 2 oxygen. So let us study one more example for this. So next we have zinc, that is Zn, when it combines with the sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4. What is the formula for sulfuric acid? H2SO4. It results in a formation of zinc sulfate, that is ZnSO4 plus hydrogen, that is H2. So let us study with each of an element. So at the reactant side, we have single zinc element. We have single zinc element. So when we see at the product side, yes, we also have a single zinc. Coming to the hydrogen, we have two hydrogen, that is H2SO4. So we have two hydrogen. Coming to the product side, we have two hydrogen. So the last, that is one more, we have single sulfur, yes, and oxygen, that is 4 molecule, together they form sulfate, right? So when we come at the product side, we have sulfate single molecule. Hence we can say this equation is also balanced. So almost all the equations in the nature, when we write a chemical equation, it should be balanced equation. So we'll move on to the next important part, that is types of chemical reactions. So we studied what is the need for the balancing chemical reaction. Now we will see the types of chemical reactions. We have 4 types of chemical reactions, that is combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, and double displacement reaction. We'll study each one of them. So first and foremost, it is combination reaction. A reaction in which a single product is formed from two or more reactants is known as combination reaction. In combination reaction, there are two types. Basically, we have two types. One is endothermic and another is the exothermic. So what is a combination reaction? A reaction in which a single product is formed. Very important. A single product is formed, not more than one product, formed from two or more reactants is known as a combination reaction. So let us study this with the help of an example. So here you have calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH taken twice. When it combines with carbon dioxide, that is CO2, it results in a formation of calcium carbonate. So here the calcium carbonate is a single product which has been formed here. That is two reactants, that is calcium hydroxide combines with the carbon dioxide, resulting in a formation of calcium carbonate. So we can say here the product formed is calcium carbonate. The second type of reaction, that is a decomposition reaction. So what is decomposition reaction? A decomposition reaction is the one in which a compound decomposes into two or more than two substances. It will decompose into two or more than two substances, that is it may be an element or compounds. In a decomposition reaction, again we have three types. So what are those? That is thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, photolytic decomposition. So let us see with the help of an example. So here, as in a case of combination reaction, we have a single product has been formed, whereas in decomposition reaction, we have a single reactant which has been broken down or decomposed into two or more elements, like CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate. Its common name is limestone, right? So it is a reactant. It is decomposes. It decomposes into calcium oxide. Its common name is quicklime plus carbon dioxide, that is CO2. So here there is a single reactant which is being decomposed into two products, that is calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So such kind of reaction is called as a decomposition reaction. And in decomposition reaction, there are three types: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, or photolytic decomposition. So, what does it mean? If the reaction takes place due to heat, if the decomposition reaction takes place due to heat, then it is called thermal decomposition. If the reaction takes place due to the electricity, then it is called electrolytic decomposition. Lastly, if the decomposition takes place due to sunlight, then it is called as a photolytic decomposition. So by the means of decomposition, we have three important types of the reaction. So third one, we have displacement reaction. So what do you mean by displacement reaction? The displacement reaction is the one in which one element displaces another element from its compounds. So very simple. Here, in a displacement reaction, one element will displace, or it will go and sit in its place. So that is displace the another element from its compounds. Seems to be simple. Let us see with the help of example. So here you have the reactant, that is zinc Zn, which is combining with copper sulfate, that is CuSO4, resulting in a formation of zinc sulfate, that is ZnSO4 plus copper, that is Cu. So according to the definition, one element displaces the another element. So here we have who is displacing whom, that is zinc. It is an element displacing the element copper. So it is just removing the copper and going and sitting behind the sulfate, resulting in a formation of zinc sulfate, making the copper as a free element. Such kind of reaction where one element displaces the another element from its compound is called as a displacement reaction. It is also called as a single displacement reaction. So fourth one, very important, we have that is a double displacement reaction. So what does it mean? The reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants are called double displacement reaction. So very interesting. There is an exchange of ions takes place within the reactants. Such kind of reaction is called as double displacement reaction. So let us see. We'll understand better with the help of example. Here we have sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Sodium sulfate combines with the barium chloride, that is BaCl2. So these two are the reactants. When they combine together, they result in a formation of barium sulfate, BaSO4, plus sodium chloride, that is NaCl. So here what is happening according to the definition, there should be an exchange of ions. So here in a reactants, when we see the sodium, it is going and sitting in a place of barium. When you make the sodium sit with the barium, and this barium is not free, it will come and sit with the, yes, resulting in a formation of sodium chloride, and this barium will go and sit with the sulfate, resulting in a formation of barium sulfate. So here who is exchanging here? The sodium and barium are exchanging their places. So there is an exchange of ions between barium and sodium, resulting in a formation of barium sulfate and sodium. So such kind of reactions where there is a exchange of ions takes place between the reactants is called as a double displacement reactions. So these were the four types of reactions we have studied. Now we will move on to the very important concept. What do you mean by oxidation? So oxidation is a process in which oxygen is added or hydrogen is removed, or there is a loss of electrons takes place. It seems to be very simple definition. Oxidation is a process in which oxygen is added, either oxygen is added or hydrogen is removed, or there is a loss of electrons takes place. So here you have a picture at the right side. Whenever an element say A, you have an element generally A, if it loses one electron, then we can say the process is called as an oxidation. Or else we have another way. If an element A, it will lose its hydrogen. So you can see here A minus H, right? We are removing the hydrogen from it. So if it is linked with the hydrogen, when you come to the product side, hydrogen is moved apart it. So we can say it is again a oxidation. In another way, we can say whenever an element A gains the oxygen, if it takes the oxygen, then we can say it is oxidized. It is a oxidation. So if there is a loss of electron, or if there is a loss of hydrogen, or if there is a gain of oxygen, then we can say that element is oxidized, and the process is called as oxidation. What do you mean by reduction? So reduction is a process in which hydrogen is added, hydrogen is added or oxygen is removed, or there is a gain of electrons takes place. So we can say that reduction is quite opposite to the oxidation. So when you see here at the right side, again we take the same element A, right? So if there is a gain of electron, previously we saw there is a loss of electron. If there is a gain of electron, we can say that element A is been reduced. Or if there is a gain of hydrogen, if there is an addition of hydrogen, then we can say that the element is again reduced. That is a reduction process. Or lastly, we have if there is a loss of oxygen, as we saw in case of oxidation, there was a gain of oxygen, whereas in reduction, there is a loss of oxygen, then we can say that element A is reduced. So on the whole, we can say whenever there is a loss of oxygen, then it is a reduction, or gain of oxygen, it is a oxidation. So we will compare, to come out of the confusion, let us compare the oxidation and reduction. On the whole, we can say it is a redox reaction. Whenever there is a oxidation reduction takes place in a single equation, then it is called as a redox reaction. So you can see here, in oxidation we have loss of electron, whereas in reduction we have gain of electron. In oxidation, there is a loss of hydrogen, whereas in reduction there will be a gain of hydrogen. Lastly, in oxidation we have a gain of oxygen, as the name itself suggests, oxidation. In reduction we have loss of oxygen. So let us see how it takes place, the both reaction in a single chemical reaction. So here you have lead oxide, that is PbO, lead oxide combining with the element carbon, resulting in the formation of lead, that is Pb, plus carbon dioxide. So we have studied about oxidation reduction process. So according to it, let us study which is oxidized, which is being oxidized, which element is being oxidized here. So according to the oxidation, there should be a loss of electron or a loss of hydrogen. Since we don't have hydrogen here in this reaction, so let us go for gain of oxygen, right? So which element has gained the oxygen from reactant to the product side? So when we see the carbon here, carbon is without oxygen, but when it came to the product side, it has gained oxygen, that is O2. So we can say that carbon is being oxidized. So here oxidation process took place where carbon is being oxidized since there is a gain of oxygen. Coming back to the reduction process, right? So what is reduction? Since we don't have hydrogen here, let us move upon to the again loss of oxygen. Loss of oxygen. So here, who has lost the oxygen? When we observe the both the reactant product side, the lead oxide, that is PbO, when it is moved to the product side, it has lost its one oxygen, resulting in a formation of lead element. So there is a loss of oxygen element. We can say the lead oxide is being reduced. So since in this reaction we have both the oxidation and reduction process, so such kind of reaction is called as a redox reaction. So next important concept, that is a corrosion. So we will come across in our daily life. Corrosion is a destructive chemical process. Very simple, it is a destructive chemical process. So let us see with the help of examples like rusting of iron. So you can see there so many nails which are been rusted. We will see so many iron elements which will rust, that is rusting of iron, tarnishing of silver. Yes, you can see the above diagram. There is a tarnishing of the silver, development of a green coatings on the copper, brass, and bronze, right? So whenever there is a copper vessels or brass or bronze vessels, they develop some green coatings when we keep it for a long duration open. So such kind of reaction is because of corrosion. So what is corrosion? When they react with the atmospheric moisture and oxygen, they lose their lustrous property. So such kind of reaction is called as a corrosion. How can we prevent this corrosion? So we can prevent the corrosion by applying grease or oiling. So you can apply the grease or you can go for oiling method. Else, you can also go for another very important process called as a galvanization. What does it mean? So iron rods have been dipped in a molten zinc to create a layer on their surface. So this process of zinc coating over the iron is called as galvanization. So you can prevent the iron from rusting. That is, you can prevent the corrosion process by dipping the iron rods in a molten zinc to create a zinc layer over it. So such kind of process is called as a galvanization. You can also prevent the corrosion by applying a protective coating such as a paint. So here paint act like a barrier between the oxygen and the element surface. So you can also go for painting. That is one more we have, that is electroplating. So what do you mean by electroplating? It is a process of applying a metal coating on the another piece of a metal or another conductive surface through an electrodeposition process. So what do you mean by electroplating? We are applying a metal coat on another metal which is supposed to undergo corrosion. So how do we apply the coat? By the help of a electrodeposition process. So it is called as a electroplating. There are also some specific types of electroplating such as copper plating, silver plating, or chromium plating. Very important concept called as a rancidity. So what do you mean by rancidity? So here the fats and oils will undergo oxidation and become rancid is called as a rancidity. So you have come across this, you have experienced this in your daily life. Whenever we keep some oils or fats open, say in the kitchen or anywhere, if you keep unused and open, they become some foul smell and they also lose their taste. So it is because of the reaction of the fats and oils with the atmospheric oxygen which undergo oxidation. They undergo oxidation and hence they become rancid. And the process we can call it as a rancidity. We'll move on to the question and answers. Rusting of iron takes place due to, is it because of oxidation, carbonation, exfoliation, or corrosion? So we have studied about corrosion. Rusting of iron takes place due to. Any answers? Okay, we'll see the answer. It is because of the option one, that is oxidation. Yes, they're asking why does the iron rust? It is because of oxidation. The rusting of iron is an electrochemical process that begins with the transfer of electrons from iron to oxygen. The rate of corrosion is affected by water and accelerated by electrolytes, as illustrated by the effects of road salt on the corrosion of automobiles. It basically takes place because of the corrosion, which is much more affected by the water. Which metal does not undergo corrosion due to the formation of oxide layer? So you have four options here. Which of the following metals does not undergo corrosion? Is it copper, iron, aluminium, or zinc? Okay, it is the third option, that is aluminium. Corrosion is an oxidation reaction with atmospheric oxygen in the presence of water on the surface of metal. Iron corrodes more quickly than most other transition metals to form an iron oxide. So here we have iron, which is an element which undergo corrosion very quickly, whereas aluminium does not undergo the corrosion. So you have a reaction here, that is nickel nitrate, which is an aqueous form, that is NiNO3 taken twice, combines with the sodium hydroxide NaOH in an aqueous form, resulting in a formation of nickel hydroxide NiOH taken twice and sodium nitrate. So you just observe and tell is a what kind of reaction it is. So you have options, that is it a combination reaction, is it a decomposition reaction, or a displacement reaction, or is it a double displacement reaction? So just observe what's happening here. Nickel nitrate combines with the sodium hydroxide, resulting in formation of a nickel hydroxide and sodium nitrate. So any answers here? Combination, decomposition, displacement, and double displacement reaction. Okay, so it is the fourth option, double displacement reaction. Reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants and are called as a double displacement reaction. So here you have exchange of ions, that is nickel is exchanging with the sodium, sodium is exchanging with the nickel, so we can say it is a double displacement reaction. The metal chiefly used for galvanizing iron is, so we have studied the galvanization process. So which metal is been used for galvanizing the iron? Is it zinc, mercury, cadmium, or tin? Zinc, mercury, cadmium, or tin? Okay. So here the answer is option 1, that is zinc. Galvanization is a process of applying a protective zinc coating to steel or iron in order to prevent. This is done to prevent the rusting of ferrous item. So ferrous is nothing but it is a italic name of iron, that is ferrum. So we use zinc basically to prevent the rusting of iron. Hydrogen, that is H2, combines with the copper oxide CuO, resulting in a formation of copper plus water molecule H2O. In the above reaction, which reactant is reduced? So you have a reaction here. You should say which reactant is reduced. Is it hydrogen is oxidized, or copper oxide is reduced, or both A and B, or none of the above? So which reactant is reduced? Very simple answer. So if you know the reduction process, You can easily say. Okay, so here copper oxide is reduced. So which is, since copper oxide is losing its oxygen, so we can say copper oxide is reduced. So reduction is the addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. Very simple. So just observe which reactant is losing its oxygen. So here the copper oxide is losing its oxygen. So copper oxide is reduced. The process of covering water pipes made of iron with zinc layer to prevent corrosion is called. Is it zinc plating or alloy formation, vulcanization or galvanization? The process of covering water pipes with the made of iron with a zinc layer to prevent the corrosion. So what that process is called as? Okay, we'll see. So the process is called as galvanization. So it is not zinc plating, it is a galvanization. Galvanization is a process of applying a protective zinc coating to steel or iron in order to prevent rusting. The metals commonly used for electroplating are, so we studied about electroplating. So which of these metals are commonly used? Is it gold, sodium and chromium? Is it chromium, copper and nickel, or nickel, lead and chromium? Or is it the gold, sodium and potassium? So any answers? Which of these metals are commonly used for electroplating? Okay, we'll see the answer. It is the option 2. Usually they use chromium, copper and nickel. The process of electroplating takes place as metals in ionic form move from a positive to the negative electrode. An electric current passing through the solution causes objects at the cathode or a workpiece to be coated by the metal in the solution. So usually it takes place in a form of a cathode and an anode, where the plating of the metal takes place. So it is called electroplating. Oxidation is a process which involves, so we studied about oxidation. Is it an addition of oxygen or addition of hydrogen, removal of oxygen or removal of hydrogen? So very simple options you have. Oxidation is a process which involves addition of oxygen, addition of hydrogen, removal of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. So any answers here? Okay, we'll see the answer. That is, it is first option, addition of oxygen. Manganese oxide, MnO2, when it combines with hydrochloric acid, that is HCl, result in the formation of manganese, Mn, plus water molecule, H2O, plus chlorine. Identify the substance oxidized in the above equation. So here you have to identify which substance, or you can say a reactant, is oxidized. MnCl2, or is it HCl, or is it H2O, or MnO2? Okay, is it is that is option D, that is MnO2. In this reaction, Cl is oxidized to the Cl2, whereas MnO2 is been reduced to the MnCl2. What type of chemical reaction takes place when electricity is passed through the water? So you have four options here. Is it a displacement reaction, combination, or is a decomposition, or it is a double displacement reaction. So what type of chemical reaction takes place when electricity is passed through the water? So any answers? Displacement, combination, decomposition, or double displacement reaction? Okay, it's the option 3, that is C, decomposition reaction. Here, electrolysis of water takes place. Whenever we pass electricity through the water, electrolysis of water takes place, where decomposition of water, that is H2O, water, to hydrogen and oxygen ions takes place. So we can say it is a decomposition reaction, that is electrolytic decomposition. Okay, we'll move upon to the conclusion part. In this chapter, you learned, understood the chemical change, write and balance the simple chemical equations, described the significance of a balanced chemical equation, classified the chemical reactions as combination, decomposition, displacement, and double displacement reactions, and define oxidation and reduction process, that is redox reactions, and define corrosion and rancidity and other aspects of daily life. So these were some of the important questions we discussed. You have any queries you can ask of this chapter? You can visit the edurapid.com site if you have any questions to be discussed. You have study materials, go through them. Okay, thank you all.